So here we are going to try how to handle a block corruption at different times. What are the different approaches that are available when it comes to handling a block corruption? The Oracle home that I am going to use is this Oracle home, and the name of the database is this one. Just to give a short overview of what our database is like. So this is my database, and the corruption that we would be doing would be on this table, EMP copy. The total number of records in this table is quite huge. So this, why I chose this table, in fact we created this table, and then we have inserted multiple records just to have a brief idea about how to corrupt we are not here to see how to corrupt a block, but how to recover from a block corruption. So this is the table which we are going to corrupt going ahead. Before we do that one, let's obtain details about this table. So this table has lot many extents allocated. So I am querying the extent information from DBA extent for our table. So extent number 0 was allocated in file number 9. Starting block number is 9. The next extent 1, and also important is how many blocks are there in this extent? 8. So the first extent is starting in file number 9. Starting block number is 9. Total 8 number of blocks are there. So 9 and 18 makes it 17. So second extent is starting where the first extent ended. So 17 is the starting block ID. Total number of blocks are 8. Extent is allocated in the file with the file ID 9. 17 and 8 makes it 25. So the third extent is starting from block number 25, again is of 8 blocks, and so on. So this way the storage is allocated. Total 36 extents are there. Clear? So this is a brief overview about our table. Next thing is to make sure that we have sufficient backup available for this table, just in case if we are not able to recover this part, we can always do a backup restoration. So we are not sure, fingers are crossed, we are not sure at the end of the exercise whether or not we will be able to simulate a block corruption and a recovery. So for that matter, I have already done a RMAN backup of this database, and we have 2 of them. So one was taken at this SCN number, another was taken at this SCN number, and it was a complete backup of the database. Database is in archive log mode. Apart from this, since this is the first time that we are trying a block corruption on our own, we have done a cold backup of the complete database, just in case the things goes wrong. RMAN backup we are not able to restore, but for some reason we have sufficient backup available for our database. So we have a backup which was when the database was created. We have a RMAN backup after creating EMP copy table, and then we also have a cold backup taken for the complete database. Now the next thing is to obtain information about that extent and decide which block we are going to corrupt. So let me get connected to SQL Plus and try a fresh hand information about DB extents. So total 36 extents are there. I am going to store this output for my own reference. So this is what our output looks like, and we are going to corrupt one or multiple other blocks from this particular file ID 9. So I am not sure what file is this one. So let me try obtain the name of the file. So I am storing this information as well, that I am going to deal with file this one. So this is where we are going to attempt a block corruption. What are all the other files related to our database? So these are all the other files. Is this clear now? I mean, just we are doing a preparatory work before I let you do the block corruption related practical. Now there's a utility, although hidden with Oracle support. So there's no point talking about this utility, because going ahead you will never get this chance to work with this hidden utility. Number one, this utility you will not find in Oracle Home. We have to generate this utility. Plus, the utility that we are going to work with is a password protected one. So there's no way a normal user is supposed to work with this editing utility. The job of this utility is to help you edit a particular block, and the name of the utility is BBED, also stands for Oracle Binary Block Editor. So this will allow us to edit or do a low level editing on a particular block in a file. At the end of this session, I am going to delete this utility, because I don't want you to try this utility going ahead. If there's any reason for which somebody needs to do a practical, we already have a cold backup of the database. We will do a cold backup of the database after corrupting a block. So just in case of if a backup is, if you want to simulate this thing in the lab, you can always try it back with the corrupt version of the database. To work with this utility, there's a proper format that we need to follow, and I am going to create a parameter file. Then I will provide this parameter file as an option to my BBED utility. So if I say BBED, it asks me about a password. So here is the help about that utility. But then, since it's a password protected one, I will not recommend you to try it on any database. Although the job of this utility is to do a block editing, and this must strictly be done by a person who has a complete understanding about Oracle internal structures. And the best team to do this one is a Oracle server support team, and not we people. But since we have to simulate a block corruption, we are trying this one. I am putting certain parameters here. I will remove the last one. So I have created the parameter file which simply talks about two parameters: what is the block size and where is the list of files. Now I am going to create the list of files as was obtained by our previous query. So I am going to save this list in this format in the file. Now it's time to invoke BBED. So what is our parameter file? Now it's asking me a password, and now I am on to see that warning is very important here. For Oracle internal use only. You should not try this utility at any cost. next thing is to make sure and decide which file and which block I want to corrupt. So let's say I am going to try a block corruption on block number file is 9, and let's say let's try to corrupt a block number 17. So I have shortlisted which is the block that I would like to corrupt. Before I do the actual corruption on that block, I would like to obtain certain information about that block, and it's printing me the complete information. Now see, this is very cryptic and is not in a way where we can comprehend what each field is indicating. That's why we suggest not to touch BBED with any type of system. I would like to do a printing of the information about a particular block, and once done I would like to corrupt it. It says mode is the default mode that you selected was browse. So let me see if I can set it here itself. So I am talking about a file, this one, block number 17, and this is the hex dump of that particular block. Now if you see, when I said last time P, the information was some different, now it's something else. Let's quit out of this one. Now I will log in as Scott Tiger, and we'll see if that has helped us. What I am expecting here is a block corruption error. Because there are just too many records, there's no point waiting for the complete thing. Let me analyze. We said like there's an analyze command which helps us identify if there are any corrupt blocks in a given table. So I am saying analyze. So I don't see any corruption in this file as of now. So it's not erroring out. So there should have been an error message if at all it comes across a corrupt file. So let me log in and do a DB verify. If I simply say dbv, it says insufficient arguments. So we said there are 2 arguments at least, and the block size. Total pages marked corrupt is 1. Bad header found during DBV, data in bad block type 18 format 4, and some other things about the corrupted block. But what is important here is it found one corrupt block. Let's try to do select count star on your EMP copy. But still I don't see. So looks like either that block is from some other segment, or for some reason it's not showing up the correct one. But if I go through DBV, I can see that the pages is one of the block is marked as corrupt. Somehow I am not able to see it when I say select count star from EMPCP. Page number 17 is marked corrupt. That was the block which we said we are going to do a corruption on. So it says corrupt block is from file number 9 and block is 17. I don't know why we are not able to get this error when we say select star from count star from EMPCP. There should have been an error about that corrupt block. There are multiple ways where we can try to simulate this one. The next thing we would try to do is to do an RMAN backup. Let's see if it complains about a corruption. So it's complaining about a corrupt block. Now the challenge is to find out which particular object was affected by that particular block. Surely for EMP copy it's not showing any error. So it might be that block is from some other extent which might not be from EMP copy. But here it indicates that yes, there's a corruption. So even if you want to go ahead with the corrupt, backup of a corrupt file, you need to set the max corrupt parameter. So anyways, we are not interested in doing a backup of that file. But this was just to prove that yes, there's a corruption in the file. And now when I am into the alert log, it's giving me the message related to the corruption. So I am in the alert log file. So here I can see the block is marked as corrupt. So there's a hexadecimal trace which is generated for that corrupt block. Clear? Let's try to do a low level dump of that block using Unix dd command, just to make sure where that corrupt block is. I am not sure with the syntax of DD. I want to skip some blocks. So input file, output file, block size, skip blocks. How many blocks you would like to skip? So we want to skip first 16 blocks and then dump next 3 blocks. Maybe we will dump by skipping first 15 blocks. 16, 17 and 18 is what we want to dump. Not OP, it's OF. So this is the low level dump which is generated. So it's exactly of 3 blocks. So if I say du-sh on this file, so it's exactly 24K, 8 kilobyte block and such 3 blocks. Now if I open this file, let's see if we can read anything. Yeah, good. So for sure the block is related to some EMP, either the original EMP or EMP copy, but I can see multiple records, so it's for sure is from EMP CP. So these are the duplicate records. So I can what I have done is we have dumped that particular block from this file, creating this file by specifying block is of 8192, that means 8 kilobytes. Such 3 blocks I want to dump by skipping first 15 blocks. So 16th, 17th and 18th block is what we are dumped. Let's see if Oracle complaints when I say so both the parameters DB block checking is at least false, block checksum is true. So let's set the block checking parameter as well. What records were there in those blocks? So we have some records. So I am going to replace one of them. Let's see if it comes across. No, still it couldn't come across the corrupt block, otherwise this operation would have errored out. But for sure there is a corruption now in a block. Now the next thing is to do a BMR, block media recovery. Before that you would like to do a try on DB verify utility once again, just to make sure there is a corruption. So it clearly shows that there is a corruption and the page has been marked as corrupt. Surprisingly, we don't see a error ORA 01578 for the corruption. But for DB verify, at least we can see that the block has been marked as corrupt. However, we are not able to simulate that it's a corrupt block. Now to try doing a block media recovery for that particular one, we'll log into RMAN, we will see if there's a backup for a given data file. We surely have a backup which we already took before we simulated that error. We would like to check the status of the file just to make sure that it's not offline. So the file is still online. For doing a block media recovery, there is no need to put a file in a file or object in an offline state. So let's start the block media recovery. Data file. Not sure if it has helped. Any corruptions? So this is what a block media recovery at an RMAN is. Instead of restoring the complete file and then doing a recovery, which is too troublesome a job, especially when multiple files are corrupt. So you will have to take all those objects offline, restore that file from RMAN backup and then do a recovery. Instead, doing a block media recovery only for the affected block is a faster alternative to recover from a corrupt block. Clear?